Hi, I'm Elly. Today I'm going to read a story called A Watermelon in the Sukkah. Are you ready to listen? Okay, I'm going to read you the story. Miss Sharon was closing the door to the classroom as Michelle rushed in, rolling a big green watermelon. Wait for me, he called. It was the day the children were bringing the fruits to hang on the school sukkah. Sam brought an apple. Rachel came in with a pear. David was carrying an orange, and Julie took a tangerine and out of her backpack. There was also grapes, pomegranates, and bananas on the table. You are so silly, Michelle, Rachel laughed. You can't hang on a watermelon in sukkah. But watermelon is my favorite food, Michelle protested. Miss Sharon smiled. Let's go out to the sukkah, she said, and maybe we can figure out how to help Michelle hang on the watermelon. The children followed her to the sukkah. It had wood beams on your four sides, branches for a roof, and fabric for the walls. It felt like you were outside, even when you were inside. Miss Sharon helped the kids tie strings around the fruits. Then they took to hanging them. Soon apples, oranges, bananas, and grapes were dangling in the sukkah branches. Michelle sat patiently with his watermelon cradled in the lap. What has an idea for how? Who has an idea who can hang Michelle's favorite fruit? Miss Sharon asked. The watermelon, we can hang it, said Julia. Let's try, Miss Sharon said. But each time they lifted the watermelon, the string slipped off. How about hanging the watermelon with lots of tape? Suggested Sam. Let's try, Miss Sharon said. But each time lifted the watermelon, the tape ripped. David shouted, maybe we can stretch rubber bands around the watermelon and hang it. Let's try, Miss Sharon said. But each time when they lifted the watermelon, the rubber band snapped. Nothing is going to work, Rachel says. You have to hold up in the air, Michelle. Michelle stood up in the middle of the sukkah and lifted the watermelon up towards the branches. He held it for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but then his arms got tired. He set the watermelon down and sighed. Maybe my favorite fruit can't hang in the sukkah after all. Back in the classroom, Miss Sharon consoled him. Michelle, maybe you bring your second favorite fruit tomorrow. Michelle looked down at the watermelon. I don't think so, he said sadly. Now that we're done decorating, can we play in the swings? Julia whispered to Miss Sharon. She looked hopefully at the playground nearby. Michelle looked outside too. Wait a second, he called. I have an idea. The other kids were surprised but excited. Tell us, they began. Miss Sharon, Michelle asked, is there any leftover cloth from the sukkah walls? I think so, Miss Sharon said. She's searching from the big bag on the sukkah supplies. Here, she said, pulling out a square of fabric and hanging on Michelle. Michelle and David, Sam, Rachel, and Julia to each hold a corner of the cloth. Then he gently placed a watermelon in the center. It's a watermelon swing, they said. Miss Sharon helped Michelle and other kids attach to hooks to each corner of the cloth. Then they went outside and hugged in sukkah. When they were finished, they all looked up. "It's wonderful!" exclaimed David. "I love it!" cried Michelle. "It's beautiful!" Julia nodded. "And tomorrow," Michelle shouted, "I'm going to bring my second favorite fruit." "What is it?" Miss Sharon asked. "A pumpkin!" "Ha, another giant fruit." Well, this story is really fun. And thank you for listening my story. Bye.